to change and improve something in your life, if you want to get something, if you want to get and improve your income, if you want a new car, if you want better status, if you want to improve your health, if you want to change the shape of your body, if you want to get over the fear of public speaking, if you want a relationship, a passionate relationship, if you want even enlightenment and basically to have a sense of inner peace and joy, regardless of external conditions, the first thing you have to do is hate the situation you're in right now. You have to experience pain. This is never talked about. You have to look at what you have and start despising it. It's something I can't live with anymore. This negative energy is what condenses. Negative energy condenses. Positive energy expands. You need to have condensed energy first so that you can release that power and manifest things. That condensing of energy, people very rarely do. Think about this. Even in the movie Star Wars, some of you are in Star Wars, the evil emperor talks to Darth Vader and he says, your anger makes you focus. And it's true, because anger is contracted energy. You know, I remember I was in Mississippi at a friend of mine's house, kind of in the South in America, a little laid back, slow kind of, country area. He had a nice house with a big porch on it. And it was kind of an old porch made of wood, wood planks there. And he had this old hound dog, this big old hound dog, like you would in the South in America. And I remember I was sitting out there and we were both in rocking chairs drinking some iced tea. It was a hot summer day. And this hound dog is lying on the porch. And every once in a while, the hound dog would kind of gently raise his head and he would whine. He'd go, oh, and put his head back. And me and my friend are talking, and a few minutes later, the dog would go, oh, put his head back. A few minutes later, he'd go, oh, and put his head down. I said to my friend, I go, what's wrong with your dog? And he goes, oh, he's sleeping on a nail. And I said, well, why won't he move? And he said, well, it doesn't hurt him that bad. Think about that. It's like, okay, it hurts, but not enough to make me want to get up and move. Do you understand this? You need to have hurt that you are not going to take this anymore. So much that it condenses the energy so that you can move, that you have to move. There's no other choice but move, which means create what you want in your life. Without this element, you don't have motivation, you don't have inspiration, you don't have drive, you don't have enthusiasm. These are the key elements of manifesting things in your life. People who manifest things in your life, they jump out of bed in the morning because they need to make something happen. They're focused, they're excited, they're determined, they're enthusiastic, they're motivated, they're driven. Because you're not being driven by wanting something. You're really more driven by eliminating the pain that you have. This is very powerful. You see, when you really look at, you want a new car. Oh, my car's fine. You want a new house. There's nothing wrong with this house. You're never going to get a new one. You got to start looking at this house and go, I'm sick of this place. You need to get sick and tired. As the saying goes, you need to be sick and tired of being sick and tired. You need to get pain. You need to have hurt. You need to basically look at this with disgust, because this is going to contract that energy so that you can make a decision. You see, that contracting of energy, that pain, forces you to make a decision that I'm going to change this, that's it, period. And that decision in the universe, if you could actually see energy, and I've seen people make decisions, and I see how the energy shifts in their whole field. And I tell them, let me tell you what's happening. And I can point out what's happening going, that's exactly right. The whole universe is like yawning at you. When you say, I'm going to increase my income by 50%. Yeah. My dream is to get a new car. Yeah. My dream is to lose 20 pounds. Yeah. And the universe goes, okay. Oh. All right. When you get serious, call us. We ain't getting involved. But when you make a decision, the whole universe stands up and everything changes. And they go, uh-oh. A great motivational speaker, and I'm not sure who it was. It could have been Cabot Robert or my good friend Ed Foreman, the late Ed Foreman, or Charlie Tremendous Jones, my late friend Charlie Tremendous Jones, or my late friend Dr. Norman Vincent Peale. All my friends are dead, by the way. All my great motivational speaker friends and trainers, you know, but they were brilliant. And one of them talked about this exact fact. They said the whole world will either get out of the way or come to the aid of the person who is determined to get someplace and knows exactly where they're going. That comes from making a decision. The whole world will either get out of the way or come to the aid of the person who is determined to get someplace and knows exactly where they're going. That comes from making a decision. Success is a decision away. When I first heard that, I thought that's too simplistic. But then when I understand the energetics behind it, how it works in the universe, how it works in the field, how it changes your vibrational frequency, and how it changes the whole universe to work actually to conspire on your behalf to help you manifest what you want, now I understood the power of making that decision. And that can only come from experienced pain. So that's number one. Number two, you need to then, from the point of not liking the house, not liking the car, looking at yourself in the mirror, in your underwear or naked, and getting disgusted. I remember there's the ex-Secretary of State in the United States, Mike Pompeo. He blew up like a balloon when he was Secretary of State and became very, very obese. I saw him on TV, and he was thin and in phenomenal shape. I almost didn't recognize him, but I thought, who's this good-looking guy? And I go, that's not Mike Pompeo. And it was. I called him. I said, hey, can't believe how good you look. And he goes, thanks. I go, what happened? And he goes, I looked in the mirror when I was naked. I came out of the shower, and I realized how disgusting I looked and how disgusting I felt. And I just got so disgusted. I just stood there for 5 full minutes feeling disgust. And he goes, that was it. That's all I needed. You understand? See, it's all he needed. He needed to track that energy, and then he goes, I'm going to look like I did when I was in West Point. He goes, Kevin, that day, not the next day, that day, I started exercising and changed my diet. That day, I was determined I was going to change this. Do you understand that? You have to get that disgust. But that drives you when you're disgusted with how you look or your car or your income or the fact that your bills aren't paid or you can't do the things you want. You can't, pay for education for your kids, or you can't get the things you want. You can't travel the way you want. You can't go where you want. You can't live the lifestyle you want. Whatever it is. That's when you can then clearly define what you want. As Napoleon Hill says, define your dream. Because he actually lays this out in the phrase, define your dream and get a burning desire for its achievement. That's fine. I'm just changing the order here so it's clear. The way you get the burning desire, is by the pain. That gives you the burning desire to get something, because you're really burning desire to change something. So it's this beautiful balance between, I want to eliminate this and get this and replace it with this. It's a balance. But it only comes not from wanting, it comes from the pain. So define, from the pain, you don't like the car, you're tired of it, define exactly what you want, specifically what you want. And expand that dream. Create what you can call an ideal scene. What's the ideal scene for your life? Is it what's the ideal scene for your relationship? What's the ideal scene for your health and the way your body looks and feels? What's the ideal scene for your enlightenment state, your joy, your love, your bliss, inner bliss. I mean, you want to be in a state of high consciousness and awareness so that regardless of what people say to you, regardless of what people write about you, regardless of what people do to you, regardless of your circumstances and conditions in life, you still are experiencing within you this everlasting joy, bliss, and peace that surpasses all human understanding because you know who you are. Isn't that, I mean, maybe that's not important to some people. Some say, let me make a lot of money first, then I'll worry about being that. Trust me, Kevin, money will make me happy. Okay, well, it won't, but make a lot of money and then you'll figure out that that doesn't give it to you, and then maybe you'll go down a different road and do them parallel. There's nothing wrong with having financial success, but it's not going to give you really what you're seeking. And there's a lot of successful people out there. I remember Robin Williams. What a talented guy. Actor, comedian, beautiful, beautiful person. Giving, generous, so depressed, so miserable his whole life. He had it all. Everyone loved him. Everyone loved him around the world. He had a wonderful family that loved him. Friends loved him. The public loved him. No controversy. Depressed, miserable, kills himself. Why? Because all those things aren't going to give you that something that's missing, that magic. But that step 2, define your dream. Expand your dream. What is your ideal scene? So create exactly what you want. If you want a new car, what kind of car? What color? How much does it cost? Have you done some dream building? I mean, think about exactly what you want. That's step 2. Step 3 is a magical step. You have to write it down. Write down what you want. Why? Why is that so important? I mean, people foo-foo this all the time. If you look at energy, first part of energy is a wave. An electron is a wave. When it's observed, it becomes a particle. This is how energy works. When you have a thought about what you want, first, it becomes a wave. When you really focus on it and think specifically about what you want, it becomes a particle in the universe or in your field. So I can look at somebody, for example, and I do this on one-on-ones all the time, and we'll get on the phone, and I'll say, red Porsche. And they'll go, how did you know that? I go, it's right in your field. I can see it. It's like clear as a bell. You're really focusing on it. So they converted the wave into a particle. So it becomes real mass in the field. But in order to convert it into the physical universe, you have to take a piece of paper and you have to write it down. So you have to write down specifically what you want. Somebody says, well, can't I just type it into my computer? Yeah, you can. It's better if you write it down because there's more mass. If you're adding it into the physical universe at just a higher level. You can then transfer it into the computer. That's fine. And there's nothing wrong with typing into the computer. Just a little better if you write it down, get into the habit of doing that. Writing something down changes everything. Zig Ziglar, some people don't know who he is. He was a very good friend of mine. We traveled around the world together with Brian Tracy, another good friend, Charlie Tremendous Jones, and Foreman. They're all good friends of mine. Brian Tracy's still alive. I was just talking to him the other day. Wayne Dyer, all these guys, all say the same thing. The must, write down specifically what you want. I was just talking to a guy the other day. We were doing a one-on-one session. And he said, I learned this from you years ago, Kevin. And when I did, I got so excited. I grabbed a piece of paper and I wrote down about 20 things that I wanted to accomplish. And I put that piece of paper away and I moved. And he goes, 6 months ago, I was going through all my old boxes and I found that piece of paper that I wrote about 4 years ago. He says, Kevin, can you believe that everything on that list had manifested in my life? But the most important thing is I forgot about them. Once I thought about them and wrote them down, it was like I didn't pursue it. I wasn't interested. I stopped thinking about it. It no longer became a dream, but it manifested anyway. This is powerful. There is power in writing something down. So you have to write down specifically what you want. Step 4, there's a concept called dream building. And I learned this, again, in my organization, and it was also taught by a guy named Dexter Yeager, who's a good friend of mine in the Amway business. He had the largest downline in the Amway organization worldwide. He was called the Master Dream Builder. But I learned this in the Brotherhood as a very powerful, specific technique. This also intensifies the energy toward what you want. So it magnetizes and comes into your life. That it virtually is attracted into your life or created into your life. Dream building is where, let's say you want a car. Okay, you write down the car. Go to the car dealership. Look at that car. Touch that car. Because when you physically touch something in the physical universe, things change. Sit in the car. Smell the car. Look at the price of the car. Study the car. But it's touching and feeling. If you want a Rolex watch, go touch and feel the Rolex watch. Put it on. Have somebody take a picture with you having the Rolex watch on. This is powerful. This little trick, it's not really a trick because it's all energy. It's really a mathematical point. Will start attracting that into your life much faster. If you want a nice home, go look at nice homes. In other words, this is your exercise called dream building. If what you want, you want a plane, go look at planes. Go look at them. Okay, well, I can't go sit in a plane. Maybe you can. Find it out. Figure it out. Put some research. Put some time. Try to touch, feel, smell. Use all your senses with the items that you want. Somebody says, what if I don't want an item? What if I want just a better relationship? How do I picture that? How do I do that? Okay, you can't touch and feel it. But maybe you can go out into the park and look at lovers that are holding hands and imagine what kind of relationship they have. Maybe they're looking at each other in love, and you want to be in that type of relationship. You can do the best you can, even with the things that aren't physical. But dream building is critical. Back before the computer, some people wanted to travel. And they said, Kevin, how can I dream build? I want to go to Tahiti. I want to go to, Bora Bora. I want to go to the Maldives. How do I dream build? I go to the travel agency and get brochures. So they would go to the travel agency and get brochures. It's even easier now. You can just go online and print everything. So it's perfect. Get pictures. Years ago, we called it a dream board. Then the name changed to a vision board, which is a big old board where you put pictures of all your dreams, all the things you want. So you can look at it and see it and focus on it. And it is a reminder of these are the things you want. Dream building is critical. Dream. Next. When you know what you want, here's the formula or the recipe at this stage, and it's a critical recipe. You have to see yourself in possession of what you want to attain and feel now as if you were actually in possession of that thing. If you want a great relationship, picture in your mind yourself in your ideal relationship. You and your lover holding hands, looking at each other. She's looking at you. He's looking at you in so much love. You're looking at them and feeling your heart flutter. You can't keep your hands off each other. You talk. You just love communicating. You love being in each other's company. You laugh. You have great passionate love making, etc., etc. Whatever your picture is, picture that and then feel now as you would feel if you were actually in possession of what you want. That's the feeling. This is critical, and this is a critical part of the recipe. It's a critical element. Picture and feel now as if you're already in possession of it. When you know what you want, here's the formula or the recipe at this stage, and it's a critical recipe. You have to see yourself in possession of what you want to attain and feel now as if you were actually in possession of that thing. If you want a great relationship, picture in your mind yourself in your ideal relationship. You and that your lover holding hands, looking at each other. She's looking at you, he's looking at you in so much love. You're looking at them and feeling your heart flutter. Can't keep your hands off each other. You talk. You just love communicating. You love being in each other's company. You laugh. You have great passionate love making, etc., etc. Whatever your picture is, picture that and then feel now as you would feel if you were actually in possession of what you want. That's the feeling. This is critical, and this is a critical part of the recipe. It's a critical element. Picture and feel now as if you are already in possession of it. Sounds simple. We can do this. And this is where almost everybody screws up. If you feel like you want and need something, if you feel like you lack something now and your emotional state will change once you get what you want, you will never attain it. Because if you're feeling lack or wanting or needing or have to have, nothing will happen. So the secret sauce here is after you picture yourself in possession of what you want and feel now as if you were already in possession of it, you're in that state. I'm actually in possession of the Porsche. I'm driving the Porsche, and I feel great, man. I can't. This is such a great feeling because look at all my friends. Ha ha ha. Oh, I feel great. You know, I feel on top of the world. Yeah. Look at them. I know what they're thinking. I know what they're talking about. I'm doing. Success is the best revenge. You would feel if you were actually in possession of what you want. That's the feeling. This is critical, and this is a critical part of the recipe. It's a critical element. Picture and feel now as if you are already in possession of it. Sounds simple. We can do this. And this is where almost everybody screws up. If you feel like you want and need something, if you feel like you lack something now and your emotional state will change once you get what you want, you will never attain it. Because if you're feeling lack or wanting or needing or have to have, nothing will happen. So the secret sauce here is after you picture yourself in possession of what you want and feel now as if you were already in possession of it, you're in that state. I'm actually in possession of the Porsche. I'm driving the Porsche, and I feel great, man. I can't. This is such a great feeling because look at all my friends. Ha ha ha. Oh, I feel great. You know, I feel on top of the world. Yeah. Look at them. I know what they're thinking. I know what they're talking about. I'm doing. Success is the best revenge. Here's the magic. Then you have to release and let go of any attachment to actually having it. You actually have to then say, but it's totally okay if I never get that Porsche. And when you release the attachment to having to have it, when you say, but it's totally okay if I never get it, maintain the same feeling. So you release the Porsche and no longer have the Porsche, but feel exactly the same way. This is the magic. Because now you don't care if you get it or not. Because who cares if you get it? You're already feeling the same way as if you did get it. And since getting it really, I want to get it because I want to feel that way. But wait a minute, I'm already feeling that way. Sure, I still want it. I mean, I'd like to get it. It'd be nice to have, but I don't have to get it. Because I'm already feeling as if I had it, even though I don't. So I really don't care if I get it. When that happens, the magical thing occurs in your life. You're the one who says, when I least expected it, that's when it happened. We've all said that, when I least expected it. Why? because you released, you surrendered, you let go the need of actually having it. So you weren't even expecting it anymore. That's when it comes. That's the power, the release. Next, number 7, you actually have to then say, but it's totally okay if I never get that portion. And when you release the attachment to having to have it, when you say, but it's totally okay if I never get it, maintain the same feeling. So you release the Porsche. I no longer have the Porsche, but feel exactly the same way. This is the magic. Because now you don't care if you get it or not. Because who cares if you get it? You're already feeling the same way as if you did get it. And since getting it really, I want to get it because I want to feel that way. But wait a minute, I'm already feeling that way. Sure, I still want it. I mean, I'd like to get it. It'd be nice to have, but I don't have to get it. Because I'm already feeling as if I had it, even though I don't. So I really don't care if I get it. When that happens, the magical thing occurs in your life. You're the one who says, when I least expected it, that's when it happened. We've all said that, when I least expected it. Why? Because you released, you surrendered, you let go the need of actually having it. So you weren't even expecting it anymore. That's when it comes. That's the power, the release. Next, number 7. You had your dreams, your goal, your big picture item of what you want. But realistically, that ideal scene for your life could happen 5 years from now, 2 years from now, long time. It's a dream. Now, doing these steps eliminate what Gordon Ramsay told me. Gordon Ramsay said, you have to have a dream, but you can't live in a dream world. In other words, you can't be delusional. So you have these big dreams, you feel now as if you're already in possession of them, you release the attachment to them, but you're going to be in a dream world. You have to do the next step. The next step is you break down that dream into a singular chief aim. A chief aim is something that you know you can attain in 6 months to 1 year. Not a dream, not a wish, but it's something you can attain within 6 months to a year. This is where a lot of people miss Napoleon Hill's statement. Napoleon Hill is famous for saying, whatever the mind of man can conceive and bring itself to believe, it can achieve. But they forget the comma. There's a comma there, and it says within reason. He says within reason. I remember Zig Ziglar was, giving a motivational speech. You can do anything. Real rah-rah, real enthusiastic. You're a winner. Whatever you can dream, you can achieve. And the reporter grabbed us after the presentation. We were sharing the stage that day, and the reporter says, "Hey, you're a pretty positive, motivated guy, Mr. Ziegler." Yep. So do you think you can attain anything and do anything with a positive attitude? And Zig said, actually, you can't do anything with a positive attitude, but you can do everything better than with a negative attitude. And I laughed. And that made really sense. You can't do anything, but you can do everything better. So your goal has to be reasonable. Your dream can be unreasonable. Your vision, your dream can be so big, it may take 3 lifetimes to accomplish. So your dream can be unreasonable. And the bigger your dream, the better. But then you have to now get realistic if you really want to make things happen, because you have to come out of the dream world, out of delusion, out of fantasy land. Hey, welcome to fantasy. I see people all the time, I'm going to do this and this and this. And I go, welcome to Fantasy Island. You're nothing but a delusional person. And you're like, what are you? I go, you're delusional. Smack, smack, smack. And I'm doing this because I love them, not because I'm being mean to them. I don't like being mean. I'm doing them because I want to snap them out of their stupid state and get them so they can actually manifest stuff. Because they've been saying this for 10 years and they haven't moved in their income. Nothing's changed in their life. It ain't working. So you have to break your dream down into a chief aim, something that you know that you can achieve in 6 months to a year. Hey, let's say you're 30 pounds overweight. My chief aim is in 1 year to lose 10 pounds. Well, heck, you can do that. That's not impossible. That's not even a stretch. So your chief aim is something you can achieve within 6 months to a year. And let me tell you a little secret here. I was with a guy, we were doing a business deal. And the company was doing about $100 million, I think, and we were taking it public. And he says, "Okay, what's the estimate for the next year?" And I says, I think we can hit 200 million. I think we can hit 200 million." And he took his pad of paper. He had a pad of paper because he was writing notes. He took his pad of paper and he threw it at me. Now this guy's worth hundreds of millions of dollars at the time. In today's money, probably close to $1 billion. I go, "What did I do wrong?" And he goes, "You give me a number that not only that you know that you can hit, but you know you can beat." And I said, "Wait a minute. Are you telling me that if I told you we could do 200 million and I came in at 190 million, that's not good. But if I told you I could do 110 million and came in at 115 million, that's better?" And he goes, "Yes." I go, "No, it's not. 190 million is more than 115 million. He goes, "It's not the number. It's beating your estimate. That creates a win. Once you get a win, you get momentum. Success or a win builds confidence. And then confidence creates activity. Proper activity creates winning or success habits. Success habits creates results. Results creates more success. So success creates activity. It's a momentum cycle. So when you set a chief aim, you have to set a chief aim that you know you can hit, and you know you can do it sooner than the time limit you put it on. So the chief aim has to be specific with a time limit, but it's got to be set up so that you know you can win. Listen, this is a game, and you're writing the rules. Write the rules so that you always win, because that creates success. It creates confidence. It creates momentum. We see it in sports all the time. Teams not doing well, and then they say all they're trying to do is get some little victories here so they can build some confidence up. You need victories. You need wins. You need to set a goal and not only achieve it, but surpass it, and surpass it sooner than the date that you put. This creates momentum, confidence. It's a momentum cycle. Very powerful. So break down your goal, your dream into a chief aim, something you can easily hit within 6 months to a year that you know you can. Then you break down that into an objective. Now look, let's look at military. Military is a good example of this. The dream is to win the war. Let's say in the Second World War. The dream was to win the war. Okay, good. What's our chief aim? Our chief aim is to land on the beaches of Normandy and get a foothold. So we have a chief aim. Okay, good. What's our objective after that? Our objective is going to be, let's get to Cannes. Let's get Montgomery to get to Cannes. D-Day +5. So we have an objective. We have a time limit, something that we can achieve in a short period of time. An objective is something that you need to get to on your road to the dream. So if you look, it goes this way. First you have the dream over here. This is far away. Then you have your chief aim. And then over here you have your objective. And here's you. So you're going, in order to get to the dream, I have to hit this objective, this chief aim, that gets me closer to my dream. And every time we attain or reach an objective, reach our chief aim, we set a new chief aim and a new objective. and then a new chief aim and a new objective. This is how people build things. They're always going toward the target. They know where they're going. Having specificity is really significant and important. So you have to have your chief aim and you have to have your objective. And again, they must be written down. Right on that wall over there, I got my dream, right below, and then at the top, and then right below it, I got our chief aim, and then right below that, I got our objective. Now, the objective is something that you're going to, sometimes you can call that a goal, an objective or a goal. That's something you want to achieve within 1 month to 3 months. And again, something you know, as long as you do the actions, you can get it. It's not fantasy. It's not something that's, outrageous. It's reasonable. So set your objective, write it down. With your objective, when you look at your objective, and here's where the rubber meets the road. Now you say, what do I have to do? What action step do I have to take tomorrow? What is the action step? Okay, I want to put on an event in September. Okay, so what is the action step? That's an objective. Could be a chief aim, could be the goal, something you want. What are the action steps? I have to find a hotel that has the room and the availability on the dates I want. I have to sign a contract and negotiate the contract with the hotel, the rooms, and the AV. Then I have to put up the registration on a website. Then I have to market it. You can think of all the things. So you grab a piece of paper, my friends, and you start writing all of the action steps that are needed, the actual action steps that are needed. Or if you don't know the action step, you write down the end result, like get contract signed. That's an end result, get contract signed. In order to get the contract signed, an action step is I need to call Tammy at the Hyatt. That's my action step. And tell her to send me the contract. The next action step is to read the contract. The next action step is to call Tammy and negotiate the language of the contract. Do you understand? My objective is sign the contract, but there's a lot of action steps that have to be written. Write them down. When you write this down, the whole universe now realizes you are serious, because you're actually writing something in the physical universe by writing it down. You can put it on a computer later, that's fine, in your to-do list or however you do it. I use a paper system, but you can use a digital system. But your to-do list, your action steps are critical. And every day you have to look at your dream, your chief aim, your objective, and your action steps, and you have to say, am I getting closer here? Am I getting closer? So how do you do this? You chart your progress, the last step. You chart your progress with statistics. Everything has to be measured. Otherwise, you will confuse activity with accomplishment. And that's not my phrase. I learned that from Zig Ziglar. Confusing activity with accomplishment. Most people do that. They're not getting anything done, but they're always busy. But if you chart your progress, and I'll give you an example. When I say chart your progress, this is a chart. That's a graph. It's done in a very specific way. The down line is bad, it's red. The up lines are good, it's black. So this is a specific graph. It's very important that it's 8.5 by 11 unless you're using an A4 if you're in Europe, that it's a long way, not this way. It's this way. These numbers are weekly. You graph charts almost always weekly. That's the best unit of time. Sometimes monthly, sometimes quarterly. Weekly is found historically to be the best. Sometimes daily, if it's a short project you're working on, sometimes daily, but weekly gives you trends. And the trend, you want the line to be going up. Now, if you look at this particular one here, there's an art to reading this. Someone says, this is like a great line. Look at this line going up. Yeah, but look at the line from here to here. It's not going up that much. If you were to draw a line right across, it's almost flat. So that's the real graph. So if you really look, the graph goes from here to here and then to here. So it went up and then it's flat. So we need to get this to go steeper. By looking at this, we know what we have to do. We now come up with what action steps do we have to take to make that happen. This is how stuff is created. People always think, well, I always thought the law of attraction said you can just sit there and do nothing and, everything would just be coming into your life. Look, you can sit there and do nothing, and what will come into your life, what will come into your mind, the universe will tell you what to do. That's what comes. People say, Kevin, you always said, don't worry about the how. Your training balance scale that you taught us says spend 90% of your attitude, 90% of the time on your thoughts, on your thinking, on your vibration, on your feelings, and only 20% on the technique, on the methods, on the systems, on the to-do and the actions. That's true. It doesn't say 0%. It says 20%, not zero. Because what happens is when you don't know what to do, but you picture the dream, you picture the ideal scene, the universe, when you make that decision to go through these steps, the universe will then pop in your mind, I know what to do now. I need to call this person. I need to check that out. I need to go here. I need to do that. All of a sudden you get motivated, and actually it's really different than motivation. You get inspired to take action. And now you actually love the process of creating. Because that's what the joy is. You've heard the phrase, success is a journey, not a destination. The journey is the reward, not the destination. Why is that? We are creative beings. When we are in the process of creating something out of joy and love, we love to do this. We love the joy of creating because we feel now as if we would and will feel when we actually achieve what we want. That's why we get what we want. Our feeling doesn't change. If you look at guys who started businesses when they were working out of their garage, they were in a state of bliss working out of their garage, and they didn't have two nickels to rub together. They were eating tuna fish out of a can. And then all of a sudden they build Apple Computer, and they felt the same way. I was talking to a guy, we were at the Golden Door Spa for a week. He was one of the founders of Google. The guy's worth, I don't know how many billions, I'm not going to ask him, but he was one of the beginning guys. And he's retired, he's in his 30s. And he was like, I'm traveling the world, blah, blah, blah. And I asked him, I said, when you started, were you making any money? No. Were you happy? I was so happy. It was unbelievable. And I says, when you made money, did things change? And he goes, not really. If anything, I became a little less happy because I had all this stress and pressure. Isn't that interesting? Because he achieved it because he felt then as if he thought he would feel when he attained what he was looking to attain. But it's not about attaining it, it's about building it. Listen, you go to see kids on the beach, and they say, I want to build a sandcastle, or in the snow, I want to build a snowman. Where's the fun here? They didn't say, I want to have a snowman. I want to have a sandcastle. Oh, little Johnny, little Susie, you want a sandcastle? I'll bring in an architect here. We're going to build you the perfect sandcastle. Then I'll give it to you. They're going to go, no, I want to build a sandcastle. Yeah, but it's not going to be as good as the one I build with these 10 guys. I don't care. I want to build a sandcastle. I want to build a snowman. I want to build a fort, even though it's going to be terrible. Because they don't want a fort. You understand? We love creating. So when you follow these steps, you all of a sudden get in alignment where you're now creating. And that gives you immense joy, even though you don't have yet what you want, because you've also released the attachment to it. So charting your progress is very, very significant. Now, if you break this down, there's a few little items you can just make a little note of. All these items are incredibly significant. Number one, you have to have a specific dream. It has to be specific. It has to be clear, because you can't hit a target that you can't see. Neither can you hit a target you don't have. So when I ask people, what's your goal? What's your objective? Well, just live a good life. Nothing's going to change in your life. You got to have something specific, even if it's small. I want to get a little garden in my backyard. I want to clean the garage. What's your goal? What's your chief aim? You know what my chief aim is? Organize my closet. Perfect. I mean, there's no wrong dream. I want to organize my closets. Okay, that's your dream. Now let's set a chief aim. I want to organize one closet. Good, let's set an objective. My objective is I want to make a plan, write down a specific battle plan to organize that one closet. That's my chief aim. Good, what's your action step? Uh, Spend 5 minutes writing the battle plan for cleaning that one closet. Okay, I mean, it can be as simple as that. And this is how stuff gets manifested. So you have to have a specific dream. Number two, it has to be measurable. You need to be able to chart it and graph results. You have to graph results. Otherwise, you don't know if you're succeeding or not. Next, and there's a little thing here, which should be an automatic, but I'm going to mention it. Your dream has to be your dream, not somebody else's. You know, my mom wants me to go to law school and be a lawyer. Okay, but that's not your dream. I had a buddy of mine who actually said that. My parents want me to go to law school. I go, you want to open up a bar. You're an Irishman. You love to drink, and you're a funny guy. You want to open up a bar and have comics there. Yeah, but my parents want me to be a lawyer. You're going to be miserable your whole life. Your dream has to be your dream, not somebody else's. You can't be doing something to make somebody else happy. It's going to be your passion, your dream. It's got to be written down. We talked about that. You have to make that decision. We talked about that. And if you do all these things, you will know you're in alignment because you will have a magnificent obsession. A magnificent obsession. And a love for doing the action. You'll be the guy who stays up till midnight. You know, you see it in the movies all the time. The guy's working, and he's just like so passionate. And the wife says, "Are you coming to bed?" No, honey, I'm right in the. And he's because he's just like so happy. I'm building this thing. I'm doing this thing and doing. And then he wakes up the next morning before she does because he doesn't even want to sleep. He just wants to get back in his workshop and work on this invention he's working on because he's just so passionate about it. All people have this obsession, this passion, this love of doing and creating. They love the actions. And that'll happen to you if you're in alignment and follow these steps. Magic will occur. Magic will absolutely occur. Looking at the current situation and not hating it, but actually being grateful and thankful for everything, no matter what it is. That's fine after you do the first step. Okay? The first step is what contracts the energy. And there's what's called sound good advice, which sometimes misses the mark in terms of what's actually occurring. I'll give you an example of this. For golfers out there, there was a great golfer named Ben Hogan. And Ben Hogan had a photograph where he was hitting the golf ball. And this photograph was taken back before they had high-speed shutters. So anything that was moving when they took the photograph was blurred. And in this photograph, it said, Ben Hogan is holding his release until the very last minute. And that's what it looked like. And that's what everybody taught. And one golf genius looked at that same picture and said, wait a minute. If he is holding his release, which means holding his wrists and not moving them, the club head would not be blurred because the club head wouldn't be moving. But the club head in this photograph is blurred, which means it's moving like that, really incredibly fast. He's not holding his release at all. He's released the club head. And then this genius said, hey guys, instead of holding the release, try releasing the club head and see what happens. And virtually within 30 minutes, everybody was hitting the ball farther and dead straight. So what people thought was occurring actually wasn't occurring. So what occurs here is, yes, we have to be thankful and grateful. When there's a catastrophe in our life, we can't hate it. We have to be thankful and grateful that the universe is supplying this tragedy into our life for our ultimate benefit, because the universe doesn't do things to us, it does things for us. But when we look at that car, we have to build up that disgust so that we can, it's like a springboard. We then shift that energy into the positive. When you take that negative ball of contracted energy, and this is where there's a misnomer. There's not good energy and bad energy. There's only energy. Okay, if you look in the clouds in the sky, oh, there's a white fluffy cloud, good cloud. Oh, there's a black cloud that's angry and it has lightning and there's thunder coming up. That's a bad cloud. No, they're just two clouds. So when you look at energy that's contracted and black isn't bad energy. It's just contracted black energy. And when there's expanded white light energy, it's not good energy, it's just expanded white light energy. They're on the same It's like, oh, this is bad temperature, this is good temperature. No, it's just degrees of heat. So energy is the same way. We take contracted energy and we then use it and explode it into what we want. This is Esther Hicks, the teachings of Abraham, calls it a rocket of desire. This is what Napoleon Hill calls a burning desire for what you want. In order to get that burn, you have to have contracted energy first. Then you are in a state of joy, bliss, peace, gratitude, and so forth. And you can be thankful. You know, I'm really thankful that I hate this car because it's given me the motivation to get a new one. I'm glad my car broke down because now I am so pissed off that I want the new one. Do you see the difference here? So there's actually, you're looking at what's around you as a blessing to motivate you, to give you the oomph so that you can clearly define what you want. This is called contrast. And unless you create contrast, you can't clearly define what you want. If you're in a crappy relationship, just look at all the things you don't like about it. That will help clarify what you do want. And then focus on what you do want with, obviously, love and gratitude with a crappy relationship. Because it allowed you to clarify what you want. Like it starts, like you just said, that was a beautiful example, that starter on an engine. You got to get the juice going. The performer. But it's okay to criticize the performance.
I know.
Okay? And we can't be delusional. We have to be honest. And if I look at my body and say, you know something? Okay, I don't like the way my body is. I'm a great person. I'm a wonderful being. And if I want to change my body, I can. Now, guess what? If you're 350 pounds and you look in the body and say, you know something? I love my body. There's nothing wrong with that. There is no disgusting body unless you choose that you want to change it. So there is no disgusting bodies. There's no perfect body or anything like that. You look at it and you make that decision. I love my body. I was with this beautiful woman. We were doing yoga together, and she was incredibly large. And she was the happiest, gleefulest person in the world, incredibly flexible and so forth. And I loved her. She was great. She was just beautiful, inside and out. She glowed with beauty. Her figure was beauty, sexy, and fantastic because she loved herself. So there's nothing wrong with that. And I'm not saying body shame yourself or anyone else, but understand the intention behind what I'm suggesting. Cures they don't want you to know about, which was, as you mentioned, on the number one on the New York Times best-selling list 26 weeks in a row, sold 50 million copies. Actually, it was the best-selling book in all of America the year it came out. It was on the front page of every major newspaper. It was on every television show in America. It was front page of the London Times, Sunday London Times front page of the Moscow Times in Sydney about this particular book. The four areas are, number one, nutritional deficiencies. Even if we eat all organic food, all fresh fruits and vegetables, the soil's depleted, we're going to be nutritionally deficient. So you should be taking some type of nutritional supplement, some type of whole food nutritional supplement. Mix it up. Don't take the same thing every day to get some nutrients in your body to handle some of the nutritional deficiencies. The second thing is toxins that are in your body. We have toxins in our body from the chemicals in the food we eat, the air we breathe, water, any type of pharmaceutical drug, whether it's an over-the-counter or prescription drug. These are all toxins. We have toxins, and toxins are created by negative thinking. So our body's pretty toxic. You should also then cleanse your body. You take a shower every day, but do you ever shower the inside of your body? No. So we have to do a colon cleanse, and a liver cleanse, and a kidney cleanse, and a spleen cleanse, or at least a colon cleanse, once or twice a year. And there's 100 different products, herbal ones. They're super simple. You just take them. You go to the toilet a little more than normal. It really smells, and that's a good sign. That means there's toxins coming out of you. Sometimes your skin smells because toxins are coming out through the skin. It's the largest organ in the body. So cleansing is really important. The third thing is exercise. We just don't do any exercise. Very few people do. Look, you can do some stretching, some exercise. It takes 2 or 3 minutes a couple times a day just to bend over and try to touch the floor. mean, just move a little bit. I mean, when you get out of bed, do like a deep knee bend or try to bend over and touch the floor 3 times. You don't have to go crazy. You don't have to go even buy a gym membership. Just move your body. Just do this. I mean, just try to pull your leg up. I mean, just move a little. Walk. Take the stairs. I mean, me and David, and Janine and my different friends, we go to the movies. And there's one theater we go to, and they have a bottom floor and a top floor. And the top floor has a big, huge escalator that goes up. And it's a long, long one. But there's also stairs. So when I go there, they all look at me and go, oh no. I go, yep, we're running. Come on. And we run up the stairs. And we get to the top and okay, why not? Just do a little exercise. If you go down the second floor, the fifth floor, don't take the lift or the elevator. Take the stairs. Super simple. And the last one is your attitude. You got to be living with gratitude, joy, happiness, bliss, non-judgmental. This is one of the critical areas. There's we will call them negative, just for clarity. Anger, grief, sorrow, shame. These are the things that cause disease. We need to release these negative energies and be non-judgmental. I mean, love and compassion, love which is unconditional and without exception. Pretty hard to do. But it's something at least we can kind of think about and release a little bit of the negative energies. That will keep our body a heck of a lot better. Greatest secrets of success. It's association. It's who you associate with. Who do you spend time with? Research has shown repeatedly that your income is the average of your 5 best friends. So what you said is, Peter, is 100% correct. One of the greatest kept secrets in the world of success, when you look at people that, in today's dollar amount, it's really $100 million net worth, or about $10 million of your income. That's kind of the level that you kind of look at and above. When it comes to material success, some of these people are miserable, they don't have good health, they're out of balance. But let's just talk about material success for a moment. If you're looking at somebody who's making that type of money, look at all of them, every one of them. And throughout history, including Andrew Carnegie and Henry Ford and all these people. And today, the big boys like Elon Musk and the late Stephen Jobs, etc. They are all part of a group, either a private club, a secret society, a country club, a group, or an association. And at the lower levels, they're part of things like YPO, Young Presidents Organization, or a club like Rotary Club. Why? So they can associate with like-minded people that will uplift and help them. We have a connection via our DNA to our family. And if you're a member of a wealthy family, you have an advantage because you're getting power from all the other people in that family to you via your DNA. So if you're down, you get empowered via DNA channel. And if you're positive, you're empowering everybody else who has the DNA connection. If you don't have that, because a lot of our family, friends, and relatives are boneheads, and we're like, how did I draw this card out of the deck? Look at all my friends. They're all negative Nellies, right? Well, then you have to join a group like YPO or Rotary, or your organization is a great group. Mine, the Global Information Network, or I actually have a fan club, the Kevin Trudeau fan club, where people join and become partners, so they can connect. And when they join, energetically, they're connected to the rest of the like-minded group. So they empower each other just energetically. That's really critical. Every successful person is part of a group, an association, so that they can pull for others and have others pull for them on an energetic level, not just by giving them the right connection, call this guy, or, giving them advice that they wouldn't be able to get someplace else. That's all good. But it's more the connection energetically that these individuals have that make the difference. I was with, CEOs, billion-dollar businesses, and they all are part of groups. They meet once a month, secretly, in homes and things, or the back of restaurants where they pull for one another. They're all from different industries. but they're all like-minded, and they all want to see each other win, and they're giving effectively love and support to everyone else. So having a support network is absolutely critical.